Okay, so I was just reflecting on parents. Okay, the whole concept of parents. I had a lot of conversations today, weirdly enough, about parents. And um okay, here it is that parents are truly they're the ultimate challenge. And once you figure out how to deal with them and how to not deal with them, that's the wrong word. I mean, to have them in your life and not resist it. And that's what I mean. And yeah, if you're able to do that, you're able to it changes your life and how you see other people and how you just see everybody. I feel like if you've been challenged with parents who don't want to change despite the advice you give them that is in their best interest and you know that they would help their well-being, but their stubbornness or their pride gets in the way and they're like, no, you're wrong, don't tell me that shit. And they get all like, um so I mean, there's sort of like a hierarchy going on between relationship between parent and child, you know what I mean? And like, you're not they know it all and you're supposed to learn from them. And that the idea of the parent learning from the child is like very like missed most of the time. When I feel like kids are here to they're lessons for parents as well as the parent being a lesson for the child. It goes both ways. So and understanding that between a relationship between a parent and a child, I feel like is what really would unite those things and bring them together, like, well, you know. So, anyways, so have you been challenged with parents that are very stuck in their ways and not wanting to change? Um, and then being able to accept that as like the best thing you can do for yourself. That is the best thing you can like do for your relationship, for yourself and for your parents and for our fellow human beings, I think. Yeah. And like the harder it is, the more like reward there is, I guess. There's a give and take in this um game of life. That's one of the rules is there's an in and there's an out. There's yin and there's yang. And there's give and there's take and there's life and there's death and there's here and there's not here, I guess. That one's not good. Actually, okay, no, that one counts, I guess. Um, so, uh, yeah, and then it goes in the ways of like in the same way you're able to, what am I saying, hold on, and then okay, so like in the same way how, like if you were to relate it to like a common myth is like fighting the dragon, and then because you're trying to get like the gold that these hoardings, you have to fight them, and then like you get the treasure, or like you get the your what do you get? Yeah, you get the treasure. Um, and like the dragon represents like the thing that's in your in is like that, not in your way, but like is the way to the other thing that you're trying to get. That's like that the story that you're sort of following mythologically here. Um, and like usually that dragon is like your fear, and then when you face your fears, there's a treasure after it. There's like there's you gain something from from putting yourself into it, and like and fighting it, not fighting it, but like, you know what I mean, you're okay. You gain something from it. It's not for nothing. You gain something from fighting your fears. Is more confidence. It's being more you. It's being more authentic. It's like it's living a life with like more love in your heart, and like not wanting the best for other people, and like not living in a state of mind and heart of just like loneliness and like separation. Like you're, you know, ah, what was I saying? It's not feeling okay, right? So then, okay, so how is what I was trying to say is the dragon is your parents, and then once you just like is no, okay, it's not your parents, but it's like it's the it's the thing that's not allowing you to just like accept who they are. I guess it's that thing, and then you you defeat it because you can. It's because you can. This whole thing's set up for you to go through this journey, go through the hero's journey, and then you do the thing, and then it works out. And then it's fine, and then it's you get the thing. And the reward is like just not feeling shitty. That's the reward. And like who wouldn't want that? Who wouldn't want that? Being able to like not feel so much disconnection from the people that the first like human beings in your life, you know what I mean? From like when you're a baby, like those are your first like they're usually like your main connection, like your fucking they're your first love. You know what I mean? My friend told me that, and it's kind of weird to say, but it's like they're your first love. They're um a lot of like the root of like why you are the way you are a lot of the times, and like hopefully like being aware of that, and then being aware of like, is that serving me or is it not? um a lot of like amazing insight is behind the dragon, And is that's you can't buy insight. You can't buy wisdom. You know what I mean? You can't. You could look it up, I guess, but like inner being able to like connect to your inner wisdom, like that's that's what you're doing. Um, and that's it's pretty worth it in my opinion. Life's been it's been good, and it's been good because I understand what the dragon is. I understand what it represents. So it's not, I see it as part of my story as opposed to this thing that's in my way from living my life. The dragon is your life, it's part of it. And it's like, it's, it was, it's put in there on purpose. It's the symbol of the dragon. That's what it is. So, yeah, that's definitely a dragon worth defeating, in my opinion. So that's like my 2 cents on parents. I've been thinking a lot about it. several several years, and this is the conclusion I've come up to this point, and I'm pretty satisfied with it. Yeah, I'd say I'm pretty satisfied. Not to say that there's not still, you know, bumps along the way, and there's a lot of times where I feel like we're not connecting, and that there's a lot of miscommunication, and not there's yeah, and not like enough, not there's not enough communication really, and that's what's happening. That's what's happening. And you don't need to say that it sucks. You don't need to say that it's good. You don't need to say that this is great, this is perfect, or like this is what I want, this is not what I want. Or you just have to like, what are you gonna do with that situation? That's what it is. You got how are you being active about it? What are you gonna do? You can't just like you can't just like sit and judge it because then nothing happens, nothing gets done. What is what's gonna happen? You know what I mean? What's coming up for me right now is like it's the king archetype that's part of your mythological story is tapping into your king, tapping into your action. What are you gonna do? A situation has come about into your kingdom, the mythological kingdom, but also the kingdom, your inner being, your inner psyche. There's so imagine that there's a kingdom, and then there's intruders coming in, and they're like right, and then your guards, your men come to you. You're the king. This part of you is the king, and they come up to you and they're like, "Yo, there's people coming. Well, there's people coming, and we gotta get to work here. Like, what are we to do? What's going on?" And then you rely on the king to like be like, "Okay, here's what we're gonna do, blah 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 blah. Like, here's how we're gonna deal with the situation." Instead of just like having a king just like sit in his chair and be like, and then the guard comes in, they're like, "Yo, there's intruders coming," and then the king being like, "Yo, that fucking sucks," or like, "I hate that," or how does just like not doing anything. just like constantly being like, oh fuck, like just you know. And then you'd be like, what kind of king? You gotta do what? What? Like where? What? That's not the kind of king you would want. You would want in power. So, are you tapping into your your inner king? And if you realize you're not, then you know that's you know what that feeling is, and that's the feeling of the king, and like it's embodying that. Not being not afraid to do it, just do it. Taking action. It's beautiful. Okay. Okay. Judging situation. What are you gonna do? Okay, so then okay. So you can just you and then understandable, you can judge a situation. Of course, everyone does. I also judge situations and I'm like, that's good, that's bad. It's just like you're it's a oh what was the word? Um it's just like kind of automatic and it just it's such as how we think about shit and like how we're like wired to like categorize events into like these feelings, right? So um but it's like, so what are you gonna do about it? And then when you figure out that you can't change people, when you can't change people, and you have to be like, wow, okay, they're not changing, and I still feel the way that I do. So now what? The next step is to change the thing that's trying to change the thing that's out there, which is in you, right? So becoming aware of that and how to be able to how to be able to first, okay, accept the situation, acknowledge that it's happening, and being like, all right, this is what's happening. And then, like, honestly, if the goal is wanting to just like feel peace about the situation, that's what it really is, I guess. Yeah, peace comes from forgiveness, and like that's a big one, and I don't want to talk about that right now because I that's a lot. But it's all good, beautiful stuff. But like, I'm tired and I need to wrap this up. Um, it comes from, yeah, forgiveness and just like a place of no expectations, and that's like from the heart, and just like the from the heart is just unconditional love. That's what it is. So then when you're withholding it, it's because you put a condition on it. I love you, but you're not doing this thing, so I don't I don't think you should like have it, or like I don't think I should be good to you because you did this bad thing to me, or I shouldn't feel, you know what I mean, like those kind of things. Which again, there's nothing wrong with feeling those things. It's obviously very understandable when you do. You know what I mean? And like that's something I want to, of course, say. Okay, so feeling peace about the situation is not, and so it's being like, yeah, okay. And then how do you do that? Hmm, you do that with a lot of patience, um, and a lot of compassion, um, a lot of listening, and yeah, it's not something that just happens overnight. It's definitely been a journey. I'm still on that journey, still figuring it out every day. Every day I'm at home, just at home all the time here with them. You know what I mean? I have nothing to do but learn from this lesson. Um, that they're here to teach me, and I'm here to teach them. Hopefully, they're getting it. And I'm doing my thing. I think I'm doing my thing. I'm chilling. Um, yeah. Um, yeah. Um, that's kind of my take on what my experience has been like being a child of two parents, as all of us are, I guess. I feel like that's just like not talked enough about. I can't believe we don't talk about that all the time. Cause like it's a pretty huge chunk of like who we are. So like crazy that like we don't just day to day talk about it. Yeah, definitely not talked enough about. So yeah. Um so I'm gonna start talking about it. Here's me talking about it. Hope somebody else does too, because I would love to hear it. I'd love it. So someone do that. Okay, bye.